Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, before we get into the show, first off, man, if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video will come out because I'm here each and every single week. And one last thing, don't forget to be awesome. Yeah, man. Sit back, chillax, grab something to eat, grab something to drink because you're watching the Ryan Awesome Show. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about WWE Day 1. So this is our first pay-per-view of 2022. And overall, man, the show, man, it was dude, the whole thing, it was just unexciting, dude. It was not their best pay-per-view. It was not their best pay-per-view. It's like most of these matches on this show, I really didn't care about. I really didn't care about good matches, but I really didn't care, man. I really didn't. The only thing that I did care about was the main event. That was the only thing I cared about, you know. But I don't know, man. It was boring. It was boring, dude. But yeah, man, not their best pay per view, man. Now before day one was announced, the only thing that I was looking forward to was that Universal title match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That was the only thing, but the match had changed because Roman Reigns, he had tested positive for COVID, so they had to change the match. So Brock Lesnar, he got added to that WWE title match, so it's a fatal 5-way now. And so yeah, man. So with that, it actually made the match better though. It really did. It really did make the match better. Since they added Brock Lesnar. And yeah, and by the end of the night, Brock, he won the title. He won the WWE title. Won the WWE title. And I know a lot of people that was angry about it. A lot of people were angry and shocked. Me, I saw it coming. I saw it coming. The second that Brock was added to that match, dude, he was gonna walk out as new WWE champion. Before Brock was even added to the match, I knew there were gonna be a new WWE champion because Big E, as far as he was WWE champion, he hasn't been looking good as the WWE champion. He has not been looking good. But yeah, man, that was the only thing on this show that I cared about was that title match, the main event. Everything else, man, I really didn't care about. And so yeah, man, that was pretty much it, man, with day one. So yeah, man, so this is the WWE Day 1 review for 2022. So this is our first pay-per-view of 2022 on the Ryan Awesome Show. And a happy new year to everyone. And yeah, man, I say this all the time, man. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you haven't already. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel because I'm here. I'm here each and every single week, man. I'm here on Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling, Fridays for AEW Rampage, and then Saturdays and Sundays are for our pay-per-views. So WWE pay-per-views, AEW pay-per-views, and Impact Wrestling pay-per-views. So I'm here. So yeah, man. So tonight we're live in Atlanta, Georgia. WWE, they announced that Roman Reigns had tested positive for COVID-19. The Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. So yeah, so prayers for Roman Reigns for a speedy recovery. Yeah, and then another thing about the Brock Lesnar stuff, the Brock Lesnar match. Yes, a lot of people are angry about it, that Brock won a championship, but look at it this way. Yes, Brock Lesnar won a WWE championship. Could they be setting up for a Lesnar and Lashley match? the match that we all been waiting for. Since they're both alike. Like ever since Lashley came back, the one match that we all wanted to see Lashley go up against, the guy that we wanted Lashley to go up against is Lesnar. So they could be setting up for a Lashley and Lesnar match, you know, since Brock is the champion. And then, at the end of the show, they were both staring at each other at the end of the show because Lashley, he was not pinned. It was Big E that was pinned. So they could be setting up for a WrestleMania match. So that's the one thing I'm hoping that they going. But yeah, man. So we started off the show with the kickoff show. So we started off with the kickoff show. I did watch the kickoff show. And so the kickoff show, our first match, our first and only match on the kickoff show was Sheamus. It was a tag team match. It was Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Cesaro and Ricochet. And so yeah, man, this match right here, man. So at one point, man, we had Ricochet. He had hit a standing 450 splash on Ridge Holland, but his boot, like his foot, had caught Ridge Holland right in his nose, and so Ridge Holland, he was bleeding all over the place. Was bleeding all over the place. Was bleeding all over the ring mat and all that stuff. Dude, it was terrible, man. It was awful. And so so the referee went to go check on him right away, and then the medical team at ringside went to go check on Ridge Holland, and they had to take him to the back. So Ridge Holland, he was no longer in this match. He was not in this match anymore. And so this is a handicap match. So it's turned into a handicap match. And so at first I didn't know what it was, but the commentary team had made it known that it was a nose injury, so he broke his nose. And so yeah, man, so Sheamus, he had to fight it by himself. And so he had a white noise to Ricochet on the floor. To end the match, man, we had Sheamus, he had the bro kick, his finishing move, the bro kick to Cesaro to win the match. So therefore, Sheamus won the match for his team. So yeah, man, so Sheamus and Ridge Holland wins the match. And that was pretty much it, man. Pretty much it. And so with this, I thought Ridge Holland was gonna get the win, like get the pinfall win. But since he was taken out, things changed. So that was it, man. That was it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, and it was the New Day. So that's King Woods and Kofi Kingston versus the Usos, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, representing the Bloodline, Jimmy and Jay Uso. So yeah, with this is probably one of the best matches on the show. One of the best matches on the show. This match was, but dude, I didn't care about this match. I did not care about this match because we seen the match like 875,000 times. So that's why I didn't care about it. You know, great match, great match. I didn't expect them to have a bad match. I just didn't care about it because we seen it for so many times. We seen it on SmackDown every single week. Usos lost to the New Day like over and over and over again as the tag team champions. But yeah, man. But this match right here was probably one of the best matches on this show. So we had a lot of back and forth in this match. And we had the Usos, they hit a double Uso splash to Kingston. And then Woods had broke up the pin. And so to end the match, man, we had the New Day, not the New Day, we had the Usos, they hit the 3D. They hit the 3D on Kofi Kingston. So shades of the Dudley Boys right there to win the match. So therefore the Usos wins the match and are still the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So yeah, man, so that was it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Kevin Patrick. He was backstage. He interviews Big E, who is the WWE champion, or a former WWE champion, Big E. So yeah, man, I don't have the video queued up, but I'm reading this off of Ringside News. I'm reading the dialogue from Ringside News, so shout out to Ringside News. So yeah, man, so Kevin Patrick interviewed Big E, and he asked him about his odds of retaining the championship tonight, the WWE title. And, they asked him about his thoughts on Brock Lesnar being added to the match. So Big E, he has said that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, or Kevin Owens, and Brock Lesnar. He's still going to go through everybody. He's still going to go through them, and he's going to retain his WWE championship. So that's what Big E said. And so that was pretty much it with that. And so right after that, man, we had Madcap Moss with Happy Corbin in his corner versus Drew McIntyre. So yeah, man, they came out to the ring. Both of these guys did. Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, they came out to the ring. And so Corbin, he has said he stood out in this arena because he's rich and good looking. And so Madcap Moss, he has said Atlanta. He said Atlanta is the biggest city in Georgia, but he didn't know that it was based on weight. So he's calling everybody fat in Atlanta. And so Corbin, he has said that he is excited to watch his friend Madcap Moss beat Drew McIntyre tonight. And so yeah, so Moss, he has said that he says that in America, a GOAT is someone that is great, but in Scotland, a GOAT is Drew McIntyre's prom date. So yeah, it wasn't funny, dude. It was not funny. And so yeah, so Drew McIntyre came out to the ring and they had their match. And then at one point, man, we had Madcap Moss. He had ran into the turnbuckle like hard. He ran into that turnbuckle hard, and his shoulder hit the turnbuckle like really hard. It was like almost like a whiplash effect. So yeah, so that was nasty. And so yeah, man. So McIntyre, he started fighting back with overhead suplexes, and then he had a sit out spine buster to Moss, and then Moss had kicked out of that move, and so Moss at one point he had caught McIntyre off a crossbody. So yeah, he ran off the ropes and he had a crossbody, and Madcap Moss had caught him, and he stumbled while he was holding on to Drew McIntyre. He was stumbling, trying to keep his footing and everything, and so he had a follow a slam to Drew McIntyre. So that was nice because Drew McIntyre, he's a big dude, man, a big dude. So really nice. And so yeah, so McIntyre, he hit the Future Shock DDT to Moss, and he kicked out of the move, and so McIntyre tried to go for the Claymore kick, but he missed, and then he ended up hitting the Claymore kick to Moss off of the ropes to win the match. So therefore, Drew McIntyre wins the match. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Sarah Schreiber. She interviews Kevin Owens backstage. So yeah, so he said that he wasn't in a good mood. Kevin Owens, he had said that Brock Lesnar being added to the match tonight is a tragedy. He said it was supposed to be a triple threat match until Lashley stuck his nose into his business and the bully Brock Lesnar. He called Brock Lesnar a bully, and he got added to the match. So yeah, so Owens, he has said that Brock has beat his best friend Sami Zayn, and then Kevin Owens, he has said that he's gonna talk to Sami Zayn. And so yeah, so that was pretty much it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The Street Profits, that's Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins versus RK Bro, who are the Raw Tag Team Champions. That's Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, and they brought out Migos with them. So Migos was out with them. Don't know why they were out there with them for this match. I know that they sung the pay-per-view song. I know why they're there, but why did they come out for this particular match? Why did they come out? I really didn't know because they really didn't do anything. They just sat at the commentary table. That's all they did. Cheering on RK Bro. That's all they did. And yeah, WWE, they trying to be cool. They trying to be cool by bringing in Migos. That's all they trying to do. They trying to they trying to cater to the younger audience. That's all they trying to do. But they coming off uncool. They're not cool. WWE is not cool. But yeah, man. So yeah, so the Street Profits, they were acting like the heels in this match. I would love to see a more serious Street Profits. Enough with the dancing and all that stuff. I want a serious Street Profits. So yeah, man. So yeah, RKO. Randy Orton, he tried to go for the RKO on Dawkins, but Dawkins avoided it. And so both of these teams at that point, they were playing mind games with each other. Dawkins, he had hit the silencer to Riddle, and then Riddle, or Ford rather, he had a springboard senton to Riddle, and then he had a PK kick to Riddle, followed up by a running splash. And so Orton, he had broke up the pin. And so the Profits took control in the match. And then we had a hot tag to Orton. He took out the Profits. Orton had hit the double draping DDT to the Profits. And so both of these teams at that point were going back and forth, trying to one-up each other and all that stuff. And so Montez Ford, he had a tope con hero to RK Bro over the ring post. So that was nice. Great height. And so yeah, so to end the match, man, we had a pop-up RKO to Montez Ford from Orton to win the match. So yeah, so it's kind of like a version of the 3D. So yeah, so to win the match, so therefore RK Bro wins the match and are still the Raw Tag Team Champions. And so yeah, so right after the match, we had the Street Profits, RK Bro, and Migos. They were celebrating together, and so that was pretty much it. Yeah, I say this time and time again, man. They need more tag teams. They really do. On Raw and SmackDown. Either add more teams or put these rosters together. That's what they need to do. Because it's like they always break up tag teams and then they put other tag teams together. But yeah, man, that was it, man. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Megan Morant. She was backstage. She interviews Drew McIntyre. And so yeah, so Drew McIntyre was backstage. Yeah, he was looking for somebody backstage, and so he got interviewed. And so yeah, so he said that Madcap Moss had caught him off guard with his terrible jokes and all that stuff, but he's a great athlete. And then Moss and Corbin, they attacked Drew McIntyre backstage. So they ambushed Drew McIntyre backstage. And so Corbin and Moss, they pilmanized McIntyre's head in a chair. They hit the steel chair with some platform that came off of a stage or something, off of a set. And so he hit the chair with the prop while McIntyre's head was trapped in that chair. And so yeah, so that was pretty much it with that. That was it with that. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had Kayla Braxton. She was backstage. She interviewed Brock Lesnar. So she was right by his locker room. And so Brock Lesnar, he started introducing himself like Paul Heyman would introduce, Roman Reigns, and how he used to introduce Brock Lesnar. And so yeah, and then he said that he could do whatever he wants, and he could do that because he's a free agent thanks to Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman is advocate. Brock, he said he's gonna win the WWE Championship tonight, and it's not a prediction; it's a spoiler. And so yeah, so that was it. And yeah, indeed it was a spoiler. Yeah, so right after that, man, we had a match, and it was The Miz with Maurice in his corner versus Edge, the rated R superstar Edge. And so yeah, so Edge, he did his Brood entrance, back in the day, his Brood entrance, and then he went on to his regular entrance. So yeah, so we started off the match. We had Miz, he started gloating, showing off and all that stuff right after he gave Edge a hip toss, and then Edge had gave Miz a series of hip tosses. And so Maurice, she had got involved in this match too. She got in Edge's face, and so Miz had took advantage of it. He took advantage off of the distraction. And so at that point, Miz, he went right after Edge's leg, and he took control of the match. And so Edge, he had hit a draping reverse DDT to the Miz, and so the Miz had kicked out of the move. And so Edge had hit a boss man slam to Miz, and then Miz had hit a DDT to Edge. And so Edge had kicked out of the move, and so Miz, he was arguing with the referee at that point. And so yeah, Miz, he went for the yes kicks. So he's, throwing shade at Bryan Danielson from AEW. And so yeah, Miz, he hit not Miz, Edge, he had hit the execution to the Miz. It was a draping execution to the Miz off of the ring apron onto the floor. And so at that point, both of these guys, they were fighting at the commentary desk. And then Edge, he had gave Miz a facebuster on the commentary table, and the table did not break. And then Edge, he had hit a crossbody, a diving crossbody to the Miz, and Miz had kicked out of the move. And so at that point, they were both reversing each other's moves and all that stuff. And so Miz, he went right after Edge's other leg, his good leg. And then Miz, he had locked in a figure four leg lock. And then Edge, he had reversed the pressure. And, so Miz is now trapped in the figure four leg lock, or reverse figure four leg lock. And then Miz, he got out of the hold. He reversed, or he escaped the hold. And so yeah, so the Miz, he tried to go for a pinfall win. He tried to go for a pinfall, but he put his foot on the ropes for extra leverage. He put it on the top of the rope, and clearly the referee saw it. And so Miz, he thought that he won the match, but referee was telling him like, hey, you didn't win the match. You did not win the match. And so yeah, man, so Edge, he had locked in a crossface submission move to Miz. And then Maurice, this is her second time getting involved in this match. She had put the Miz's foot on the rope. So referee did not see that. So referee did see that the Miz's foot was on the rope, so he had to break the hold. And so yeah, Miz and Edge, they had gave each other a big boot, and so they knocked each other out. And so yeah, man, so yeah, and then both of these guys, they were fighting at the top rope, and then Edge, he had hit an avalanche hip toss to the Miz, so that had to hurt. And so yeah, man, so Edge, he tried to go for the spear, and then Miz, he had dodged it. He had dodged the spear by giving Edge a leapfrog. And so yeah, right off of that leapfrog, Miz, he feigned an injury, so he acted like his knee was hurting and all that stuff. So referee went to go check on the Miz. And so right behind the referee's back, we had Maurice. She had hit Edge with her purse. Right after Maurice had hit Edge with her purse, we had Miz that gave Edge a skull crushing finale to Edge, and then Edge had kicked out of the move. And so at that point, I thought that was it. And so yeah, man, so Maurice had got on the ring apron, and so she was arguing with the referee and all that stuff. And so we had Beth Phoenix. She had showed up on the stage, and she was just standing there. She was standing there on the stage with an angry look on her face, looking like a beast. So yeah, so she was on the stage just staring at Maurice with an angry look on her face. And so yeah, man, so yeah, and she was just standing there. She was standing there, and then her theme music had played and all that stuff. Like as soon as her theme music played, she started walking towards Maurice. And so yeah, I thought that was strange. That was really strange, dude. Like you go like she came out and she just stood on the stage. She stood on the stage, and then once her theme music played, and she just started walking towards Maurice. She started chasing Maurice away. So yeah, why not just come out and just chase her away instead of just standing there and then waiting for your theme music to play and then walking towards her? It ain't make any sense. So Beth had chased Maurice away, and so to end the match, we had Edge. He had speared Miz to win the match. So therefore, Edge wins the match. And so yeah, so that was it with that. The match was good, but man, this match was way too long. It was way too long. But yeah, man. And yeah, it looks like it's not over yet. It's not over yet. We might get a mixed tag team match out of this. We are gonna get a tag team match out of this, a mixed tag team match. That was pretty much it with that, the match. And so yeah, so definitely we'll be getting a mixed tag team match. So yeah, so right after that, man, we had Kevin Patrick. He was backstage. He interviews the almighty Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner. So yeah, so once again, I'm reading this off of Ringside News. So shout out to Ringside News. So yeah, they were backstage, Bobby Lashley and MVP, and then they were asked about the Fatal 5-Way match. MVP, he had said that Brock Lesnar is a once in a lifetime athlete, and the other men are trembling in fear of him, but the Almighty isn't. And so yeah, so MVP, he had said that Lashley is also a once in a lifetime athlete and is the yin to Lesnar's yang. MVP, he has said that Lashley welcomes the addition of Brock Lesnar because beating him only adds to his legend. And so yeah, so Lashley, he has said that he's going to take great pleasure in feeling Brock Lesnar tap out tonight. So yeah, so that was pretty much it with that in the interview. And so yeah, so right after that, man, we had the Raw Women's Championship match. The Raw Women's Championship match, and it was Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch, who was the Raw Women's Champion. So yeah, so both of these ladies, they were fighting outside of the ring, and then at one point, Liv, she went for the disarm her to Becky Lynch, so she tried to hit Becky Lynch with her own submission move. And so yeah, so Liv, she had locked in the rings of Saturn submission move to Becky, but Becky put her foot on the rope, and then we had a Beck Exploder suplex to Liv, and she kicked out on the move. And so both were going back and forth, and then Liv, she had hit a float over DDT to Becky, and she kicked out. And yeah, the referee, when she went for the count, It was a slow count. It was a slow count by the referee. So yeah, man. So Liv, she had hit a sunset power bomb to Becky off of the top rope. It was kind of like a springboard sunset flip, so that was really nice. And so Becky, she had kicked out in the move. And so yeah, so Becky, she had locked in this disarm her. She had locked in to disarm her to Liv. Liv had put her foot on the rope. And so yeah, we had a diving drop kick to Becky. And then Becky, she had rolled out of the ring. And so Liv, she had hit a tope suicida to Becky. And so we heard Becky on camera. She had told Liv to fire up, like fire up, like fire up. And so Liv, she started screaming and all that stuff. Because as a baby face, when you hit like an explosive move, you gotta fire up. You gotta fire yourself up in a crowd. So that's what Becky was telling Liv. And so yeah, man. So Liv, she had put Becky Lynch in the arm. She put Becky Lynch in the arm, really. So yeah, so Liv Morgan, she went to the steel steps and she put Becky Lynch's arm into the steel steps, like that hole through the steel steps. And so she started stomping on Becky Lynch's arm on the steel steps, like how Becky Lynch did to her on Monday Night Raw. And so yeah, so she started stomping on Becky Lynch's arm over and over and over again. And so yeah, so Liv, she had locked in the Rings of Saturn submission once again to Becky, but Becky, she got out of the hole. Liv Morgan, she tried to go for her finishing move, the Oblivion, to Becky, but Becky, she had countered it to a manhandle slam to Liv Morgan to win the match. So yeah, when Becky went for the pin, it looked like her foot was on a rope, and then she got her foot off of the rope. So to win the match, so Becky Lynch wins the match and is still the Raw Women's Champion. So yeah, man, with this match, that's it. That is it for Liv Morgan. That is it. No more rematches because she lost time and time and time again. Time and time and time again, she lost. And this is another match I didn't care about because like we saw it over and over and over again. We saw it on Raw. Like Liv Morgan, she kept getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and she failed. Like she lost because she cheated, right? Because Becky Lynch cheated, right? But she still lost the match. She still lost the match, and then she lost on Monday Night Raw, and then she lost here tonight. So no more rematches. No more rematches. That's it. That is it. And I knew she wasn't gonna win. I knew she wasn't gonna win. I knew Liv Morgan wasn't gonna win. Dude, there was no way that Becky Lynch was gonna lose that title. She was not losing that title. So yeah, man. So that's it, man. Liv Morgan, she is done. No more title shots. No more title shots for her. So yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Kevin Patrick. He interviewed Seth Rollins backstage. So yeah, so Kevin Patrick, he had asked Seth Rollins about the Fatal 5-Way match. So yeah, so Rollins, he said at first it was supposed to be a one-on-one match between himself and Big E, and it was supposed to be a one-on-one match. But Kevin Owens, he allowed himself into this match. Bobby Lashley, he bullied his way into this match. And then Brock Lesnar, he Brock Lesnar his way into this match. I thought that was funny. He said that he Brock Lesnar himself into this match. And so yeah, so Seth, he has said that he's not gonna divulge his strategy. He's not gonna talk about his strategy to anybody. But there's one thing that those guys have in common. They're not Seth Rollins. They're not Seth freaking Rollins. And so yeah, so Seth Rollins, he said that he's gonna do what he does best, stomp heads and win. And so yeah, that was pretty much it with that. And so yeah, man. So right after that, man, we had Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville from Jackass. He announced himself into the Royal Rumble. He announced himself in the 2022 Royal Rumble. So yeah, he said he wants to be a part of the Royal Rumble. And so yeah, I am not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it. Dude, why do we need celebrities getting inside this ring? Why in a Royal Rumble match? Really? Why is he announcing himself into a Royal Rumble match? Taking a spot away from an actual professional wrestler that's on the roster. Wanting the opportunity to go on to WrestleMania. Because that's what the Royal Rumble is. The Royal Rumble is, you win the match, you win the Royal Rumble match, and then you go on to WrestleMania, you main event WrestleMania for a world title match. And you have somebody, you have some actor come in here and just taking up an opportunity from somebody that deserve it. So yeah, man, I'm not a fan of that, man. I'm not a fan of it. I'd much rather have a legend. I'd much rather have legends, take up a spot in a Royal Rumble than a celebrity. But yeah, man, that make no sense, dude. Makes no sense. And yeah, and of course they're gonna add him into the match because they just announced it. Because usually when people announce themselves in the Royal Rumble, they are in the Royal Rumble. They are in the Royal Rumble. We're gonna hear a lot of it this month. I declare myself a part of the Royal Rumble match. We heard it a lot last year. We heard it a lot last year on Raw and SmackDown. Everybody was announcing themselves into this Royal Rumble match. You know what? I'm gonna announce myself into this Royal Rumble match. I, Ryan Awesome, am declaring myself an entrant in the 2022 Royal Rumble. I'm in a Royal Rumble, right? I'm in a Royal Rumble because I announced it. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it with that. So yeah, so right after that, man, we had the Fatal 5-Way match, the main event, the Fatal 5-Way match for the WWE Championship, and it was Seth freaking Rollins versus Kevin Owens versus Bobby Lashley with MVP in his corner versus Big E, who is the WWE champion, versus Brock Lesnar. So yeah, so Big E, he did not come out last. And champions should always come out last in the championship match, but Big E did not come out last. But instead Brock Lesnar came out last. And so yeah, man, so everybody went right after Brock. And then Brock, he started hitting suplexes on everybody. So we went to Suplex City. And then Lashley, he had took out Big E. And then Lashley, he had speared Lesnar through the barricade. And then Rollins and Owens, they double teamed Lashley. And then Seth, he had hit a tope suicida to Brock Lesnar. And then Kevin Owens, he had a frog splash to Lesnar off the ring apron on the floor. And so yeah, so Rollins and Owens, they teamed up for a bit. And so the crowd, they started chanting for tables. And then Big E had hit a Uranage to Lashley through the announce table. And so yeah, we had a double DDT to Lesnar on the steel steps from Rollins and Owens. And then Big E, he tried to fight off Rollins and Owens, but Owens had hit a pop-up powerbomb to Big E. And then Kevin Owens tried to go for a senton bomb, but Big E had got his knees up. And so dude, that looked terrible too, man. It really did. Like Kevin Owens is a big dude, and he put all his weight on Big E's knees. So that had to hurt both of them, man. So yeah, man. So yeah, blocked the sunset, he blocked the senton bomb, and then Seth Rollins, he had a frog splash to Big E, great hype from Seth Rollins, man. So yeah, Lesnar had got in. He had an F5 to Rollins, E, and Kevin Owens. And so yeah, so Lashley once again he speared Brock Lesnar, and then Lesnar had kicked out on the move. And so yeah, so Lashley he had locked in the hurt lock to Lesnar, and then Big E he had broke up the submission move, and so Big E had came in, hit the big ending on Lashley. And so yeah, so Big E he tried to hit the big ending on Lesnar. He tried to hit the big ending on Lesnar, but Lesnar had reversed it and turned it into F5 to win the match. So Brock Lesnar wins the match. So yeah, so Brock Lesnar he pins Big E. So yeah, so therefore Brock Lesnar he wins the match and is the new WWE champion. So yeah, that was it, man. That was it. That main event it was rushed. It felt like it was rushed. Like I wish it would have went on a little longer, since it was the main event and all that stuff. But it was rushed. It was absolutely rushed. But yeah, man. Yeah, going into this fatal 4-way match, I really like before Lesnar was added to it, like I really didn't care about it because the way it was built up and all that stuff when they had, Lashley go through everybody to be added to this match. Now, when they added Lesnar to the match, it made it more interesting, dude. Like it made it more interesting because, we finally got Lesnar and Lashley in the same ring. That's what made it interesting. That's what made it fun. But yeah, Lesnar winning the match, I don't have a problem with it. I know a lot of people were upset about it, but I don't have a problem with it. Really didn't. But yeah, like what you thought was gonna happen? What exactly did you thought was gonna happen? You thought that Lesnar was gonna go into that match and lose and not win the championship? Of course he was gonna win the championship match. Yes, him being added to the match don't make any sense. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, but dude, dude, they had to come up with something. They had to come up with something because what happened to Roman Reigns. We can't control that. We can't control that. He was tested positive for COVID, so they had to come up with something else. So that's why they came up with this 5-way match. So yeah, man. But yeah, Lesnar is the WWE champion now. Hopefully he's on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully he shows up on Monday Night Raw as the champion. Like I don't want him. I don't want it to go. I don't want him to go back to what he used to do, like barely showing up and all that stuff. Now as a babyface, he's been showing up a lot. He's been showing up a lot. So I would love to see him on Raw a lot more since he's the champion. And since he's the WWE champion, is he a free agent still? I don't think so. I don't think so because he's the world champion. He's the world champion of Monday Night Raw. And as the Raw World Champion, as the WWE World Championship or the WWE World Champion on Monday Night Raw, you should stay on Monday Night Raw. You can't go anywhere else. So yeah, since he won that World Championship, that should just eliminate you being a free agent. A free agent can show up on any show, but you're the Raw, you're a champion of Raw, so you can't show up on any other show. But yeah, a lot of people are mad about it. But dude, there is a positive in this though. There is a positive in this. Yeah, since Brock Lesnar won the match, and the person that got pinned was Big E. Big E got pinned, and then right after the match, Lesnar and Lashley they were staring at each other. Lashley was outside of the ring and he was staring at Brock Lesnar, who was in the ring holding the championship. And we could get a WrestleMania match. We could get a WrestleMania match between Lesnar and Lashley. We get a championship match between these two. The match that we always wanted. A match that we wanted Lashley to be in against Lesnar. Lashley versus Lesnar. Since they're both alike, since they both fought in MMA or the UFC, since they both have the same background, they're alike. They're alike. You know, like why not have a Lesnar versus Lashley match, a one-on-one match? I don't see anybody else going up against Lesnar at WrestleMania. Like I didn't want to I didn't want to see Reigns. I didn't want to see Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. So yeah, what better match? What better match than Lashley versus Lesnar at WrestleMania? That should be that next move. Big E, no more rematches. Like rematches need to die, man. Championship rematches need to die. Like it really does. But man, go ahead and do Lashley versus Lesnar. That's the only way you can go. That's the only option. There are no other options. There are no other avenues. Do Lesnar versus Lashley. That is the money match. That is the money match right there. You know how many people will want to see that match? A lot of people, man. A lot of people. But yeah, man, that was it, man. That was it with day one. That was it with day one. Was really uneventful. It really was. This was not their best pay per view at all. It was not their best pay per view. It just everything. It just felt like it was just so. It felt like it was boring, and it just felt like it was just like at parts it felt like the crowd wasn't even into it either. Like there were parts that the crowd was into it, and then there were other parts that the crowd wasn't a part of it. So yeah, man, was not their best pay per view. Was not their best pay per view. And most of these matches, I really didn't care about most of these matches. I really didn't. But since they added Lesnar to the 5-way or the 4-way rather, that's when I started getting excited. Because the fact that we had Lashley and Lesnar in the same ring. So yeah, that's the only match. I'm telling you, this is the only match on the show that I was interested in. That's the thing, man. Like the thing about pay-per-views, you should be interested in every single match, but I wasn't. I wasn't interested in every single match. But yeah, was not their best pay-per-view this year. Was not their best pay-per-view of 2022. But yeah, but I'm hoping that they go the Lesnar and Lashley match at WrestleMania. That's what I'm hoping they go. Do not do it at the Royal Rumble. Like build this up until WrestleMania. That's what they need to do, man. That's what they need to do. But yeah, man, that was it. That was it with day one. And the only thing on this show, the only championship on this show that wasn't defended yet. Or well, there are other championships that haven't been defended tonight. The U.S. title, the Intercontinental Championship, and the SmackDown Women's Championship. The SmackDown Women's Championship, of course, couldn't be defended because Tony Storm got released. So yeah, of course it wouldn't have been defended. But yeah, man. But yep, that was it, man. That was it with day one. And yeah, man, and that was it. That's the review for day one, WWE day one, the first review of 2022. And yeah, man, if you like this video, man, hit the thumbs up, man. What are you waiting for? Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, if you're watching The Ryan Awesome Show for the first time ever, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you're the first ones to know when my next video is uploaded, because I'm here each and every single week, man. Wednesdays for AEW Dynamite, Thursdays for Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling this week and last week were award shows, so there wasn't actually a show 2 weeks ago, and this week wasn't a show. It was just the award show. So yeah, I didn't watch it, but I did hear what happened on this week's Impact Wrestling. Su Yung, she's pregnant. So congratulations to Su Yung and Rich Swann on Impact Wrestling. So they're having a baby, so they're gonna be off. And so yeah, man, or Su Yung rather is gonna be off. And so yeah, man. So Friday for AEW Rampage, and then Saturdays and Sundays so for our pay-per-views, man. WWE, AEW, and Impact Wrestling pay-per-views. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man. And if you miss anything, everything is gonna be on the home page. If you miss anything, and yeah, man. And I'll see you guys on Monday. I'm gonna try to do Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna try to review Monday Night Raw. If not, I'm gonna try to do something on Monday, because I still got to do that Pro Wrestling Crate. I still haven't gotten to that Pro Wrestling Crate yet. So I'm gonna do either Monday Night Raw on Monday or that Pro Wrestling Crate on Monday. So yeah, I will be there on Monday. I will be here on Monday. I'll be doing something on Monday. So yeah, man. So thank you once again, guys, for the support, for the love and the support for the show. Thank you, and thank you, man. Oh yeah, share this video, man. Share this video and comment down below, man. Tell me how you felt about the show, and share this video with each and every single person that you come across on a day-to-day basis, man. And yeah, man. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and don't forget to be awesome. And that's that.